It's the culmination of the Trollhunters franchise, and we're going to talk about it. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. Trollhunters Rise of the Titans is almost on Netflix, and I had the opportunity to check it out early, and we're going to talk about it today. Oh my goodness, so much to speak upon in this review, and let's get into it. So following the events of the Tales of Arcadia trilogy, the heroes of Arcadia must band together to protect humanity from the evil Arcane Order, who wield their dark and uncontrollable magic to summon ancient titans that threaten to destroy our world. And I'm not kidding. When you're talking about scale, this is legitimately like the Avengers Endgame of this entire franchise. There is a lot happening. Sometimes maybe a bit too much, but if you're going into this and you haven't watched the series, I have a feeling you're just not going to respond to it because it's so much, because there are so many characters. But this is a movie that is built for those who have watched these shows, who have resonated with these characters, and it is one that is built specifically for fans, and I have to say, on that level, I think the movie works really well. I think this film does a wonderful job of bringing together so many characters, giving each character, whether it be a moment or a line of dialogue or something that has you cracking up. And I'm not sitting back saying all of the jokes worked for me specifically, but there were a lot of jokes that landed. One in particular, let's just say pregnancy works in a weird way if you're not from this planet. That joke was hilarious. And then, of course, those extremely comedic characters, and sometimes they don't even know what their role is going to be in this giant battle, but it doesn't matter. You're part of the team, and we need you. And it's a movie built upon the idea of friendship and relationships and tying together all of those story points that we wanted to see from each of these shows, whether it be Trollhunters or Wizards or Three Below. And there's so much at stake in this movie. We have these giant ancient titans who come to destroy the world. And you might be saying to yourself, well, it's something built for kids. There are not going to be stakes. Because it is, supposedly the final entry in this franchise, and because you have Guillermo del Toro at the helm here, anything is possible. So if you have kids who are watching this film and they don't handle loss and those really heavy emotions extremely well, you may want to at least be on standby for something like that, because this movie does not pull any punches in that regard. And just at the beginning, we are off on an exciting and really fast-paced note. We're getting into an action scene, and then a lot of our heroes are being questioned by the police. There's a really funny moment at the beginning where we get one more look at each character's individual trait that made them stand out in their series, and from that scene alone, you're like, yep, we're back in the universe. I'm completely on board with where we're going. But then everyone kind of gathers together, and we're learning of this threat that places Arcadia literally, and you'll learn this in the film, in the center of all of it. And when I say all of it, I mean all of it. And from there, each team, we kind of split up. We're doing the Scooby-Doo thing, where all of our teams go and get prepared for battle. And the battle that we get, and really the entire third act, is the culmination of everything. It is epic in that regard. But the battle that we get is pretty much everything that fans are going to want to see from that. And even though we may have skipped over a few things from the end of that particular series to get here, so you'll have characters that are kind of already in relationships, or one, and I'm trying to tiptoe around spoilers here, that we kind of expected them to get to, but they were not at that point at the end of the series. So you kind of have to put two and two together, and that's absolutely fine. I understand it's a movie. You don't really have time to do all of this. Part of me wishes it was a series, but that's only because I really just wanted to see more. I wanted to see more of what we got, more fun, more entertainment, more action, and we get all of those things absolutely. The voice cast, once again, from Alfred Molina to Nick Offerman to Steven Yeun, Steve, Archie, Stewart, oh my God, Blinky, Kelsey Grammer is so good in this movie, and he's almost like the Samuel L. Jackson character, or the Gandalf, if you will, the Fellowship, who is kind of in charge of setting this mission, and we get a really nice heartfelt moment with he and another character at a point. There's just a lot of heart here. There's a lot of heart within this series, but there's also a lot of heart within these characters that is showcased extremely well by Mark Guggenheim and by Dan and Kevin Hageman. They just bring out everything you want from these characters. And of course, you can't forget about Emily Hirsch and Tatiana Maslany, who are just incredible as their characters. Everyone is nailing their characters in this movie. And, obviously this is coming from DreamWorks, and the visuals are going to be on point. The special effects within the world that we have, they're great. They're as good as you expect. I think, like I said, because this is a movie, they're even amplified to a degree that almost outshines the series just from a visual standpoint. My only major knock against this movie is what I mentioned earlier, and that's just the fact that a lot happens. And because a lot happens in such a small amount of time, I do believe people who haven't watched the series, they're going to watch that and find it as a major criticism. But again, watching the shows, obviously that's very important here because this is the culmination. Watching the shows, loving these characters, knowing who they are going in is very important, and I think that gives you a different perspective on the meaning behind some of these reveals. Before I give you guys my score, thank you so much for watching this review, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop your thumbs up down below. This is an extremely fast-paced and satisfying conclusion that beautifully ties together every series prior. I do wish this was a series because there was so much, but it did not keep me enjoying it. I'm going a 74%. A nice and satisfying conclusion for fans, but I need to know the most important thing. What did you guys think down below? If you have a spoiler to talk about, be sure to leave a spoiler tag because this review is coming out before the movie. But once you see it, I cannot wait to see what you think. You guys the best. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know, would you like a spoiler review on this movie? It's a possibility. I'll see you soon.